Within the same family, but if you have a child in a classroom, that classroom gets quarantined for some reason, if your child that has to stay home, it doesn't affect the other children who might be in second grade or in another third grade class. Yeah. Unless your child, even still, unless the whole school, if it affects one class, it would affect the other. Unless your child is the one who's COVID positive. But if they were just in contact with somebody, that would necessarily apply.
Okay.
I know it's complicated, but
Yeah.
I understood your question.
Okay, so we have two conversations going on. Okay, so virtual option, if kids want to do a virtual, so right now, virtual is not an option.
That's what I'm asking, like, parents can come together and vote for it, like, we know what to know how it's for kids, because of the
Right. Sure, it's not about, it's because that puts another strain on our teachers, and that was tough for everybody. That was tough for our teachers, that was tough for staff, it's tough for parents at home. It was just, that was huge. Right now, there's no virtual option. So parents can certainly go to the board and say, we want a virtual option. It's not a recommendation, I'm gonna make it time. We're concerned about the social, emotional, health and well-being of our students. We're also concerned about the social, emotional, mental well-being of our staff. And it's really important. So we're trying to balance all of these things. Yeah, it was shared that there are virtual schools that parents can do if they choose to do it. That's what the parent was saying. Okay, 1 second. I'll come right back to you. You were waiting patiently.
Yeah, just back to the HES question with the multiple kids
Yes.
and Dr. Trabalski. I work in one school, my son goes to another school in this district. If one of us is exposed, like let's say his classroom is exposed, he has to stay home if whatever the guidelines are. Does that mean I have to stay home too, or is that what you're gonna clear up?
Right, that's what, I don't think that's the case. That's what we're gonna clear
Or
up.
vice versa, like if I have to stay
Right,
home.
right, yeah, I don't believe that to be the case, because then we'd be wiping out families.
Yeah.
Left and right, everybody would be wiped out. The question was if, you know, she works in the school and her child is exposed or vice versa, do they both have to stay home? And we'd be wiping out people left and right, so hopefully that's not the case.
If one of us tested positive, then both of us would have to stay home probably then.
Probably, yeah, at least for a short amount of time until the test
Okay.
came back. Okay, I'll go here, then you, because you've been waiting patiently.
It's so stupid. She was saying, this is her kid was positive.
So the question is, if you have to quarantine, kids are considered absent, are there any special accommodations for that? So right now, so the exclusion guidelines for attendance are, of course, by the state. So I suspect if that becomes an issue, that will come down from someone, but right now there are not any accommodations. What's that? It is, yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Right. Right. Quarantine is an absence. That was the question. You've been very patient. Thank you.
Yeah, my kids were not in school last year. I kept them home. So I'm just thinking as a parent, if my kid wakes up and they're not feeling good, you know, I don't know the reason. Do I just keep them home or?
So what we're asking is, yeah, and here's the thing. You know your children better than anybody. You know if you perhaps were exposed somewhere. You know if you went to a party. Go ahead, you can come in. Yes, go ahead, you know, right in, just go right in. That serves me. Go right ahead. Don't be scared, it's okay. So you know your children better than anybody. So if you are at a party and you think you are exposed, you keep your child home, you know.
What if you just don't know what it is? Like they just wake up and they're not feeling feeling good, but you can't tell.
Right.
Do you err on the side of caution?
I would always ask, so if your child wakes up and you just don't know what it is, you just don't know, do you err on the side of caution? I would absolutely always err on the side of caution. And by the way, that goes for staff too. If staff isn't feeling well and they're just not sure why, you want them to err on the side of
And
caution.
should you relax the attendance policy too to make sure that kids?
That would
or
seem
you're gonna
logical.
have like 15 days out.
That would seem logical, but much of this is not logical. Like I said, there was a time in the spring when they literally said to us, between school days, you have to, between 7:30 to 2:30, you must wear a mask. But at 2:40, when you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask. I said to the executive, well, we all said, the superintendent said, do you realize how ridiculous we sound?
It's not
Going
about the
to
virus.
community saying that?
You said it
Do you know what I
perfectly.
mean? So, I
Yeah,
understand.
because a lot of times kids will wake up in the morning, you don't know what it is yet.
Right.
You don't know if it's a complaint.
Right.
But it's hard to ascertain at like 6:30 in the morning if you should send them or not.
Of course.
So I don't know as a parent, how do I get comfortable with, what if I send my kid to school and then there's an issue? Someone says, oh, you shouldn't have come today.
Well, you know
How
what?
as a parent do I deal with that?
So she's saying, how as a parent does she deal with that?
I don't
We
want my
just
kids
don't
to be
know.
out for 20 days.
Of course not.
Because I can't figure out if I should send them or not.
I think that, honestly, what I would do as a parent, what I would do is use my best judgment. Do what I feel works for me.
And if they just a little sickly and I send them to school, is someone gonna come down on me for sending them?
Well, come down, they might call you, they might, but I hope that come down on is not the term we want to use. And I would say that's when you reach out to the principal or the school nurse and have a conversation. Mrs. Stotts?
Just as a former teacher in the district, even in normal times, I thought the staff, well, the administration was very accommodating for regarding absences. They would often roll them back, especially if there were mitigating circumstances and stuff like that. And I would think even more so now because of things that are totally out of your control. So I hope I'm not speaking out of line, but I hope you find comfort that it will not be held against you and that there will be, there'll be very flexible.
I used to get a letter, I just put when my daughter was out for 9 days, you used to get this letter.
Yeah, it's an automatic letter that goes out.
That's just the
Mrs.
state.
Stats, as a former teacher, was saying to the parent that, was saying that, oftentimes if these absences are things that are out of your control, they roll back the absences so that so that's something you see most often at the high
The
school
letter
because
is
it's
required.
connected to
The
credits.
letter would be defined.
But,
That's how it's
that's,
something to do.
that's what she was saying. I actually think
Well, we
it's
are
less about
monitoring
the absence and looking at the loss of learning.
the letter is in concept. We can find out what's going
Two
on.
conversations again. Okay. I just want to point out, it's 9:57, so I just want to point that out. Yes, ma'am.
What about masks outside on school grounds?
Masks outside on school grounds.
Class, all that stuff.
So, outside on school grounds, right now, outdoor masking is not a thing. Unless someone wants to wear it. If someone wants to wear it, they can. And of course, you've got all the mask exemptions too. If it's too hot, if it's too, so right now, outside, now, is that gonna change? It might. But right now, it's as long as you can maintain the social distancing, it's not recommended.
I work at Woodrow.
Okay.
With preschoolers, and we take them out as much as possible. We have outside snack on each house and stuff like that, and then they run around on the blacktop and play. So can you have them take this past year, they all had their masks on in 90-degree weather, running around and playing, it was horrible. So would we be able to have their masks off when they're running around playing on the blacktop, because the playgrounds have been closed.
Right.
So that kind of goes to that too, our playground's gonna be open and cleaned up for the kids.
Our playground's gonna be open and cleaned up, and yes, Mr. Mahmood has been working on that. Let me, with the exception of HES right now, we're still working on HES, but as of right now, as long as they can maintain social distancing, yes, but that could change, but as of right now, yes.
About the playgrounds.
Playgrounds are gonna be open, Mr. Mahmood has been, actually, they've been open.
We're just waiting on the playground mulch.
We're waiting on the playground mulch, which, the playground mulch is a problem because everything that we need to be delivered is a problem. Is a problem, everything. Even referendum stuff, that's a problem. Yes.
What about staffing? If if a teacher has to quarantine, or, you know, if they're not vaccinated or their child is quarantining and they're staying home, is there gonna be a sub for the 2 weeks or 7 days or however long they need to be out?
So we're getting subs, absolutely, we're getting subs, and Mr. Callahan has been, you know, working on that. So right now, that's what we're doing, as of right now. It's exactly 10 o'clock, yes.
For staff and maybe students, but like as a staff member, I'm fairly new, so I don't have like the 1,000 hours built up in my time off bank, my PTO bank. If, like, I had to quarantine 10 days, that would wipe out most of my time. Can you look into a way that maybe we don't have to use all of our time if we have to stay home? Because it's something that isn't in our control.
Right.
But instead of losing all of our time, because if let's say I had to stay out twice a year, I would have no time, I would be
Sure,
paid.
sure. Yeah, right now, it's an employee about, if she has to quarantine, she's losing all her sick time, essentially, because you can wipe out her sick time. And she asked if we would look into that. Of course, we'll look into that. Right now, the opinion we received was that it would be sick time, and then we'd have to look further after that.
What if it was school related? Like what if like it was a kid in their class?
Because, you know what, I could get sick from a student, you know, as a cold.
Right.
You know, it's chicken pox or
Right,
whatever,
right.
so it's all
Right.
sort of the same. It's after 10 o'clock. So I'm happy I can stay a little while longer, but, you know, I know that they gave us the room until 10 o'clock. Yeah.